Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skies of Arcadia. We just had, in the last episode, a very exciting battle against Admiral Gregorio, and it is now time for us to go through the Dark Rift. I picked up a spare moonberry during some free time that I was playing the game, and I used it to give Fina her next ability. And so now I'll be able to show that off, but also we get to go inside the Dark Rift, which is sort of an airship dungeon. There are some spaces that are like that. We had South Ocean, which was something like that, but here it truly is. And just to sort of stress that, we can go to the bridge of our ship, and you will be able to see that, the shutters are all closed and everything is sort of different, and we can talk to our characters. The characters, at any given time, I can stop and go onto the bridge of the Delphinus and talk to different characters, and they all have things to say about the spaces that we are in. Marco does. We have Aika and Fina. Right? It's very cool. The Dark Rift is very great. So there are two things I want to do here. One, I want to get out of here. I want to make it to the other side. But two, believe it or not, there's a crew member that I can find in the Dark Rift. So we will travel mostly through the Dark Rift in this episode, almost exclusively, and save what comes next for later on. Anything that shines like this down here acts as a chest, so we can go to the different sunken shipwrecks and attack. As I've said, combat spaces are abstracted spaces. In theory, we are fighting on top of the hull inside of the Dark Rift, where one assumes perhaps that space is calm inside of the storm or whatever, right? But not necessarily the case. So this is Lunar Winds. We will show it off. It is a skill for Fina, an offensive skill for Fina. We are very close to having her ultimate skill, which will give me flexibility to use with Moonstones, because I'm probably not going to upgrade Aika much further unless I actually really have a lot of spare Moonberries. Did I say Moonstones in that last sentence at any point? If I did, I meant Moonberries. So we still have to deal with these enemies. The good news is that the yellow ones drop a lot of gold. So we should make it through this space independently wealthy and great. I want to take time to note, just as a complete tangent, that the manual, I found the manual that comes with this game. First off, this is Lunar Winds. It won't do a lot of damage. It'll do a little bit. So what was I saying? Yes, I found the manual that comes with Skies of Arcadia, and let me tell you, or at least I found the one that comes with Skies of Arcadia Legends. This thing is full of stuff. There's an entire 2 pages about the world, which includes the 6 codes of the Blue Rogues, an entire organizational chart of the Valuan Empire, information about the Moonstones, character information, item information. There's a ton here. Oh, Sacrum hitting right there. That's unfortunate. We'll use, hopefully, Rain of Swords in the next round. But just for reference, the 6 codes of the Blue Rogues are: 1. Always be audacious. 2. Make decisions swiftly. 3. Take treasures and be thankful. 4. Do not tolerate cowardly acts. 5. Always challenge he who is stronger than you. And 6. Never give up. Fantastic stuff. I particularly enjoy Take Treasures and Be Thankful, which I think would just be a lovely sentiment to carry throughout my life. Life itself being a treasure. One that I struggle with quite a bit to sort of come to terms with the fact that I will one day not have the gift of life. So I hope that I can take treasures and be thankful for all of them. Because I'm certainly not getting any younger. That is for sure. But I should not dwell too much on that. It will actually put me in a mindset that will not get me through the Dark Rift. It will induce anxiety, which is not anything we want. So we head down here to the treasure chest. Mega Seed. That will be for Fina. In fact, let us make sure we give it to Fina now. Oh, it's right in front of me. I'm blind. 24 max MP. That's pretty nice. So going through the Dark Rift is going to be the biggest problem for me, because I will need to remember sort of which diverging paths branch off to where I want them to go, in order to find the things I want to find. It's sort of, you would imagine, a strict progression. And in fact, if this is the exit, I will be sorely disappointed. Because that will have been incredibly anticlimactic. Oh, that's right. Good. So, I forgot that the Dark Rift can do that. So it can twist about and confuse you, and you can exit it the wrong way. So we might re-encounter spaces a little bit. This is one of the reasons why I want the Dark Rift to just be sort of its own section. This too is an interesting way to engage with space, but there's not as much commentary to be had. The design of the space is suitably sort of somber and interesting, but you know, that comes with certain attachments. In fact, so I think we go over to this side. We can go through these spaces, and there is a rift for us to enter down there. I can see it. And I can also see a treasure chest for us to grab, or rather a sunken ship for us to salvage and look through. So we'll fight enemies sort of as much as we can. I have Pyrulen. I don't know if I've ever shown it off. Perhaps I will in the next round. So we'll just attack normal. Because these enemies are not too robust. We're in a fairly good position for the game. Sort of just letting things play out. Considering the 6 codes of the Blue Rogues, took me down a little bit of a mental side path for a minute, from which I need to sort of recover. But always be audacious. Make action swiftly. These are not bad things to consider in real life, although I would much rather prefer to make sure that I made actions that were also sagacious rather than merely just swift. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do in this day and age. This day and age is a very fast-paced world we live in, so it's sort of hard for us to deal with. No, I said I was going to show off Pyrulen, and we will do that. I feel bad slotting Ica for purple. I've said before that it is the weakest of pretty much anything. It's weak against blue, it's weak against purple. Purple is weak against itself. A lot of things are weak against it themselves, but not quite. For instance, silver has no inherent weakness except that yellow does a little bit of extra damage towards it, but like it has nothing where when I use silver as a weapon thing, it's stronger against yellow, but it's not weaker against anything, if that makes sense.
Is it over already?
Which is why silver, silver will suffer no damage penalty towards yellow, even though yellow will enjoy a damage benefit against silver. All of this sort of laid out in the wonderful instruction manual in front of me, correcting me on some of the suppositions I had about the combat system. A legendary sword that can supposedly rip the fabric of reality and make dreams come true. Ladies and gentlemen, Skies of Arcadia wants you to believe in dreams so much that it has weapons that cleft reality in order to make dreams happen. Think about that, because it's some pretty fucking cool shit. Dark Rift put me in a somber mind state. I hope that the ambient atmosphere will sort of not be too dull, and it will suffice to make up for any lapses in my commentary. I am also recording late at night, or relatively so. I record when I can. Just so happens I was able to record late tonight. But there are worse things to be doing than having free time to sit and play your favorite game so that other people will sit and enjoy it, quote-unquote, alongside you. Not playing by myself, you know. All of you are sort of here in spirit. Although, not quite, really. But I like to think that if you've stuck with me through this, this journey to this point, that you certainly have found value in the experience thus far, and haven't found me to be a completely irritating and silly individual. Rain of Swords doing a lot more damage now that we have a new cutlass.
I'm glad everyone is okay.
It's hard for me to quantify or express why Fina is my favorite character in this game. Certainly Vise and Aika I like. The Gilder is very fun. There's admirable qualities about everyone. But Fina does have a lot of qualities that I enjoy. Okay, so here's a discovery that's really great, and fanfic writers have gone nuts with it. So we go straight to the center. The Black Moonstone. This rare Black Moonstone holds tremendous power. It can turn positive energy to negative and vice versa, but a practical application for this has never been found. There are rumors of a lost Black Moon, but the truth remains unknown. It's cool stuff. And the graphics in this space are a little odd. I think we go into the upper left one in order to find the crew member I'm trying to look for. Nope, it's flickering a funny color, so I think that actually takes me out of the space. If the portals are flickering, they are not real portals. They take you out of the space. So, I've spoken before about exploration things giving you sort of a lot to work with in your imagination about, like, hey, what's going on in Skies of Arcadia, what's going on in the world. I mentioned, for instance, the balloon discovery that implied, or outright stated, sort of a world before practical airships where balloons were the way that things were done, sort of a Guns of Icarus type world, I would imagine. Although Guns of Icarus really just makes me think of Skies of Arcadia, because hey, Skies of Arcadia came first. Guns of Icarus, by the way, a great multiplayer game. You should play it. It's much better to play if you have a couple of rigs set up side by side. That's a tangent. I don't know why I'm talking about Guns of Icarus. The implication of a lost moon is really interesting. And a lot of people, when they have talked about, like, hey, what would I want in a sequel, they always bring up the possibility of the Black Moon, which I do find very interesting. We need to grab as much as we can. So we want to grab as much treasure. Actually, stop for a minute and listen to the music. It's very somber. Never noticed this music in this space before. Huh. I like it. One aura of valor. So placing an item like that in the space is cool. Because of what the items sort of... So here's a thing that I don't know if I've talked about necessarily for RPGs. Another way that we learn about the space, so not just the discoveries in this game, so what am I learning about the Dark Rift as I go through it? Well, it spat me out, so I know that it sort of is this place that can sort of confuse or confound people. That's sort of a self-evident thing, just because of the nature of the space. But what does it mean for me to find a downed ship and find a dream cutlass, and then open another ship wreckage and find an aura of valor? I mean, the language sort of speaks for itself, right? The items speak to the implicit history of the space. So we find a dream cutlass in here because this is a place where people have dreamt of crossing time and time again, and we are finally going to make it so. So here, it is only fitting thematically that we find a weapon that is supposedly something that can make dreams happen. It is fitting that we find an aura of valor on the wreckage of a downed ship in order to sort of represent the bravery of the people who were lost in this space. You can do quite a bit of implicit storytelling just by having the right things in the right treasure chests. Sometimes, yeah, you just put some mega elixirs or whatever the fuck in there and call it a day. Other times, you do what Skies is doing right here now, and you occupy that space with items that have thematic significance. And so, let us never say that Skies cannot do things subtly. Because Skies is using the mechanic of opening a treasure chest in order to make our engagement with the space like more emotional, which I find to be a relatively clever use of space. And of course we get a moonberry in a space like this. I think we can head up. Can we head all the way up? No. This is always a difficult space for me to sort of guide my way through. Is there anything down below? Yes, there is. That's good. There's two places. I think we go to the left first. I want to find the other crew member, is the thing. Aye, the play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. It's Hamlet, people. In case you didn't know.
Get him!
Just sort of trying to remember my Hamlet. I studied it not exclusively. Oh, that was a weird little bit of a lagginess going into that attack. I hope that doesn't happen too much. I did do a study of just Hamlet for an entire semester, which was rather edifying. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by sleep to say and end the heartache. I lost it. To die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. I'm playing Skies of Arcadia and quoting Hamlet, or poorly quoting Hamlet right now because I'm tired. You know, because that's sort of what this can be at times. Gosh. I wish I knew that one a little better. There we go. Oh, Aika.
Close one.
We did okay. We're out of there. We'll have to heal. I still have sacrum crystals. Wind gem ring. Interesting. What is that? Let us find out. By healing first. Oh, not many sacrum crystals left. That's sort of unfortunate. And then equipment. Because, yeah, she needs something. Oh shit. That's awesome. Why did she not have anything before? Fina has nothing. Ooh. Oh, you know why? Because of the shipwreck. Because of the fucking shipwreck stuff after the Little Jack. I didn't know that they lost equipment in those slots. Wow. Sort of learning something new every day. That's a false space. That's not the exit. Fuck. That's weird. It's weird that it does that. I might have just derped myself out of the rift entirely while I was too busy thinking of Hamlet. When he himself might make his quietus with a bare bodkin. It's very good language.
Retreat!
Fucking... I can never run away in these playthroughs. So, we're in for a fight. I'm trying to remember it in my head. To be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache, and the thousand natural shocks the flesh is heir to. Shit. I'm losing it again. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To dream, to sleep perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For within that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrongs, and the proud man's contumely, what's the fucking word? The pangs of despised love, blah blah blah, the spurns of a something. The spurn's the patient merit? I don't know. It's all on my mind. I'm obsessed with Shakespeare now. I'm sorry. You've entered into a very strange bit of Skies of Arcadia. Alright. I think it's because I'm going through the Dark Rift. And also,
We did it!
I'm just totally like, oh my gosh, if I accidentally went through the wrong way in the Dark Rift, I will totally pause and skip until I am at the right place. I hate pausing and skipping. During the whole section with, Okay, so... We have literally gone back to the start, but we know where to go, and that's okay. So we all make mistakes, which is fine. If I make the loop again, I will do a wipe. But after the craziness that was the whole Crescent Island section, or everything else, it's just like, you know, what it took for us to get to Esperanza. It's like, I don't want that to be a crutch. That's why I only did it so much. I haven't showed you like every time I've gone to get discoveries. I have played this game not WoW, not just straight through in this playlist. I've taken time to do sort of things ahead of time every now and then to get some things set up. I've never played further into a section or anything, right? But I have made sure I've had money, you know, or things like that, or tried to. I'm sort of just taken in with the Dark Rift as a space. You would think that gray nothingness doesn't work, and this isn't just gray nothingness. It's, you know, a space with other stuff in it, but it definitely, like, it can feel like, just gray nothingness, but there's a tone to it. Perhaps I'm romanticizing it too much on account of nostalgia for this game, but there's a tone to the space that I think affords it a lot of power. There's a rift right here. I remember in my mind's eye, in that room or a room like it, taking a left. So if I cut a quick left there, I am heading into a rift, and sort of that's the way I want to go in order to get the crew member. Who we'll talk about when we find them. Can I run this time?
Retreat!
Yes, I can. Look at that. Doing okay. Let's use this downtime again to just sort of recharge. I mean, obviously nobody's watching this playlist from start to finish. You would be absolutely mad and need to have plenty of spare time, but still we have all of this to deal with. So I think it's this ship right here, actually. Yes, it is. We will find a shipwrecked man. This is Robinson. Haha, creative name. I didn't mean to read the diary. I'm gonna take his treasure chest first. Haha, treasure. Another moonberry. Let us talk to him. This is Robinson. Somehow he has survived inside the Dark Rift. He doesn't remember his name. But Polly knows who it is, because this... If you might vaguely remember when we picked up Polly, Polly had mentioned that she did not know where her husband was. This is her husband. Because this is a game where coincidences happen and where miracles are a thing that can occur. A man can get dragged into a rift, live for an unknown amount of years, be reunited with his wife, and go on to meet his child. it's an amazing moment, and this is just for finding a crew member. So this is why I wanted to find this. It's nice. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous to have a moment like that that's just about the your crew, right? And he'll join our crew to be alongside Polly for now. And he is our second sailor. So we can, if we want to, go to our crew section. And where Marco was, we can sort of compare. Marco will double spirit points for all turn. Robinson will reduce the spirit point cost of actions for a turn. So in theory, Marco is the better one to have, but we'll put Robinson on active just for the hell of it right now. I don't tend to use crew members a lot in battles, with an aforementioned exception. But I really wanted to have that moment occur and find it. And it's good now that we have so many moonberries. We have 2. I don't know if Fina's... I think the ultimate for anybody requires 4, so as we go through the rest of what's going on here, we should be okay to grab some more. Here we... this is where we entered. To get out of here, we head towards the right, and we go down into the real one, as we did before. And we'll go from there. I can't believe I've spent a large amount of this time trying to remember Hamlet. Who would these fartles bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dregs of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear the ills we have than fly to others we know not of. It's a question, but I'm messing it up. It's a somber sort of speech, which I'm butchering, and I should remember it word for word, but I'm tired and playing Skies again. Showing off some special attacks while we can. I mean, we know what Lambda Burst is, but it still gives this a little bit of excitement. Which is what we want. Because I can remember other Hamlet things. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not set his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of the world. Fie on it, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much not 2. So excellent a king... Oh, ghost mail. I got distracted by that. What is it? So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so as loving to my mother that he may not beteem the wings of heaven, visit her face too roughly. Heaven and hell must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if it increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman, a month, or ere those shoes were cold with which she followed. My poor father's body, like I always pronounce it wrong, like Niobe, all tears. And I've lost it again. Needless to say, I should probably read Hamlet again some point in the future. And needless to say, I don't remember what is the right exit out of this room. A beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer. That's a really good line. Some of the other stuff, not so much, but in that speech, that's a really good line. A beast that once, or discourse, would have mourned longer. Sometimes it's just fun words to say, Shakespeare. Other people as well, Marlowe, Lily Marston, Kid.
That's fun.
That is an area of study that, like, I'm just rambling about myself. That is an area of study that I enjoyed very much, was Elizabethan theater. And then I did a bunch of Irish stuff as well. A lot of Irish myths and a lot of modern Irish playwrights. Basically anything post-colonial. Alright, so we have 2 exits. That one seems like bullshit. They both seem like bullshit. I don't know if I'm making the right choice. I'll know if the exit is blue, right? Heading towards the blue sky. I fear I've made a terrible mistake. But no, all I've merely done is just simply gone back to the room with the black moonstone. So I don't feel bad about that. Let's run.
Retreat!
Alright, let's, for the hell of it, let us try our Kraken more. More Shakespeare, but Hamlet, certainly. Or, no, because I can do the other speeches of other things better. Perhaps we'll do Henry V for the heck of it. This is a weird episode. I don't care. I'm having fun with this. I'm utterly lost in the Dark Rift. I will find my way out. Even if it means having to stop. How long have we been going? About 40 minutes or so. That is acceptable to me. Trying to think. Henry V would be appropriate, maybe. What is it? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, then we are now to do our country loss, and if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee. Wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold. I forget it.
Is it over already?
St. Crispin's Day. What is it? How's it go? Today is called the Feast of Crispians. He that outlives this day and comes home safe will stand a tiptoe on this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispin. I'm too concerned with getting out of the fucking rift right now. Let's go back through the wormhole that I know is sort of correct and go from there. He will strip his sleeves and show his scars and say, "These wounds I had on Crispian's day." It's awesome. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. Most people know that line. I can't think for the life of me right now about Shakespeare because I'm getting tired. And also, I want to get out. I want to get out of the fucking rift. Let us run.
Retreat!
Okay. We head downwards. I hope. Did I mess up in this room before? I feel like I went through that area and that was bad. Oh, criminy. Which way did I freaking go? That one's shimmering, that one's bullshit. This is real. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a dark rift, no escape from reality. Open my eyes. Look up to the skies and see skies of Arcadia. Fucking did that. We're behind them so we can run.
Retreat!
Faust. Do I remember my Marlowe? Ah, Faustus. Now hath thou but one bare hour to live, and thou must be damned, and then thou must be damned perpetually. Stand still, you ever-moving spheres of heaven, that time may cease, and midnight never come. Oh, this is good. This is correct, right? This has to be. It's different than what was before. I need to rise up and go through here and not quote Faust for now. Oh, shit. Oh my gosh. Fair nature's eye, rise again, and make perpetual day, or let this hour be but a year, a month, a week, a natural day, that Faustus may repent and save his soul. Olente lente curate naque ec... noctis equi. The stars move still, time runs, the clock will strike, the devil will come, and Faustus must be damned. We don't write or talk like that anymore, ladies and gentlemen. See where's Christ's blood in the firmament. One drop would save my soul, half a drop. Fuck, I am going in circles. And I am fighting a battle right now. I am totally doing a hard cut. I will see you in a minute or two. But I'm gonna fight these things. Whooshy boop up. So I found it. Turns out there was a way upwards, and there's a chest that we opened with a Zivulan Bane. I did not show that because I know that there's a boss fight before we leave this space. So we will show the boss fight, and that will be the end of the day. And you will have to wait until next episode to see the land of Yafutoma. Why did I say it funny? That was not part of the plan. This is a weird episode. I like it. A lot of you probably don't. I do. This can be the weird one. It's fitting for the setting. Once we get into the lands of the Blue Moon, when we get to
That was a close one.
Yafutoma, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about what's going on. Because it's another one of our first contact type of things. And it's where we get another sort of close allegory, and it's more, I think as I've said before, it's more Perry than it is, Matthew Perry. than it is other things. Not the actor, by the way, the guy from the 1800s. Look it up. Here's a giant monster that I don't find particularly memorable, but I just remember that we have to shoot it with the moonstone cannon, basically. Which you would think is just the basis of any fight, but it's like, not quite. Yeah, we should have used Marco, but I don't care too much. We focus. No, so just focus twice and guard. It's sort of a boring turn, but like I said, it's all set up right now. And then we have a, I think the choice is what changes the next round. There's no special conditions to this fight. It's just sort of, when I said like before, like use the moonstone cannon, it's like, because this monster is generally obscured by the rift, so it's hard to attack it. You can't attack it until it leaves and peeks out its head. And you sort of have to figure out the times when it's going to do that. So this is a very different type of battle than what we're used to, because it's so stationary and so staid compared to particularly what we had before. See, now that I'm able to talk about game stuff and not just travel through a dark, bleak void, I'm doing more than just quoting iambic pentameter and things. So we want to stay put, is what it is. Because if we move around, it doesn't really go that well. And we want to really nail it as much as we can. Polly's gives us magic, right? Okay, yeah. Our other cook that we can get is incredible. But see, I don't care about that right now, because it will still probably hit on the Moonstone Cannon turn, so it's like, okay, I can deal with it. Because he'll be sort of out of the rift hole, and we'll attack. This is another encounter that I don't entirely remember, but...
Moonstone Cannon, fire!
You know, I actually think they probably didn't need this here. The sort of navigation of the space itself was sort of enough of a challenge. Also, this boss is just fairly robust, so that's annoying, because I'm going to have to spam the attacks a while, which is why I was concerned. And it's like, I do the weird editing crazy stuff just to get rid of time, but because a strict playthrough, like if you were watching me sort of stumble about to find everywhere I need to go, that's no fun. There's not a lot of fun to that. So I want to get you mostly straight to the stuff, even though I think time spent in this space wasn't, misspent by any stretch of the imagination. So this is just more of the same, more of just like build up. We just want to do whatever we can to get into strong position, and then what we might do is Pinta we won't need to use, but it's tempting at some point to use Pinta later on, but we'll launch a value and torpedo into the next round, which will be nice. Because the enemy isn't doing a lot of damage per hit, so I'm not worried about that. And it does have an attack where it can like lunge out and like attack us beyond that, but I'll take my chances. And then we will call it a night for sure. But yeah, sort of. So this is, I suppose, this is there. There are times where there are bosses that I don't think need to be in the game, and this is one of them. You spend a lot of time in the Rift, just sort of going about it, and the idea isn't a bad idea of like a monster in the maelstrom, right? But it doesn't necessarily add anything. It's just another layer of buffering between me and the new exciting area that I want to go to. The Rift is interesting, but I don't know if the Rift is exciting. Those are two different things, although they can overlap, right? And we're just keep on staying put, which just means that we are going to have a dangerous end of the turn. We can attack, focus, torpedo into the next turn, and guard. I like the idea of being able to torpedo into the next turn. It's really cool. But yeah, like, so it's just like, this is a strange type of encounter for me. Like, the boss doesn't do a lot of damage, but it has this health pool that's sort of big, and it really is just this gate guardian that's getting in the way of all of our shit. It's hard for me to know what to make of it. Particularly, too, because you have that added sort of complication of it bobbing in and out of the sort of whirlpool. So you're not always assured of, like, okay, when am I going to hit it? When am I not going to hit it? It just doesn't function the way that you would imagine it to, which is sort of, I don't know. The Rift is cool. I went sort of mad in the Rift, which is fitting for the location, but now we have this, and it's just like, I don't need this. Skies, just let me be in the interesting space, you know? This is the one time the game feels, I guess to me, like it's trying too hard. Which is funny because Skies isn't a game that does that at all for the most part. But this does feel like the game is trying too hard to be like, see, scary monster. Oh, look out for the scary monster. And it doesn't quite function as I would care for it to function, I suppose. It just doesn't quite go the way that you would think. Focus and guard. So buffed Moonstone Cannon plus a torpedo hit beforehand. This will take it down. We're still going to have to do a lot of setup for our next big attack round, which is unfortunate. So like I said, big health pool. I'm only doing so much damage, and it's not like I could have gone and gotten really advanced weaponry. I have decent weapons on my ship. So, I don't know. Maybe this is the most critical I will ever get of Skies of Arcadia on a just like pure, like, this is dumb level. Even compared to some of the points of the game that I can find to be regressive or simple. In sort of how they handle some things, this is just like dungeon design wise, I wouldn't, not to say that like I am some sort of authority on these things, I'm not at all. I've worked on games that have had dungeons in them, but that doesn't make me an authority on good dungeon design. This is just what I think is good dungeon design, right? This is not me speaking in a broad prescriptive sense, but I think that now, sometimes you can just have a journey through a space that doesn't need to be capstoned by an encounter, and this is probably a really great example of that, of a way of an RPG just, like, not getting it. Which is funny because, like, I don't care about the giant monster in, or like the giant bird that was in Rixus, because I'm still like, okay, that was a dungeon, I'm on foot, it makes sense. Like, this is just like, I don't really know. But now it's coming out of its little wormhole, so I want to get in a big attack round. And... well, actually... what if I... no, because Robinson takes points to use anyway. I'm an idiot. I was like, what if I used Robinson for the reduced cost? In theory, too, I can use the sub-cannons for as many rounds as I want, as long as I have the spirit. Like, if I was at max spirit, I could just, like, sub-cannon throughout the entire process. Just sub-cannon, sub-cannon, and sub-cannon. All the way through, just douche, 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 douche. Which is kind of cool. And this is a mental note to myself for when I watch through this video. Sell all of the shit that you've bought from Zivulin Banes, or not bought, that you've got from the treasure chest they're guarding. I have a ton of stuff, a ton of treasure, and I haven't sold it. You know what that would have helped with? The money thing from before. The discoveries in Ducat's coin was fine. I didn't have to do that much work off screen, but I keep on forgetting that those things are there. So Heather, do that. Okay, so big attack round. And that's gonna finish it off. Oh, I almost feel sad for it if it wasn't a really bad boss. How much experience do we get from that? 2708. Got some level ups. Very nice. Heavy torpedo, concussion bomb, timing valve. I like having a new torpedo. We'll check that out some other time, though. We'll move through here. With my luck, run into 9 random encounters along the way. And we'll head out onto the other side of the rift. Making history in the progress, which is super cool. And we have, blue skies ahead of us, so let us... haha! I'm teasing you! Let us leave it there. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for putting up with my strangeness in this one, if you've made it through. I love you very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.